Much of our modern-day media is based around the forming of fear in the audience. Typically, this fear-mongering is directed towards groups of people, ideas, or situations. In contrast to this is media which explores the impact this fear can have. Mr. Fear by SIAMÉS is an example of the latter. SIAMÉS uses symmetry, symbolism, and lyrical perspective to argue against allowing the fear of others to control your actions and choices. And these rhetorical choices come together to form a narrative worth analyzing.
Both characters are disconnected from society, living in different types of fear. The man walks through the city, withdrawn into his hoodie and ignoring those around him, living in the fear of others. While the man is socially disconnected from society, the girl is physically disconnected, living in a biodome away from the city lights and in the middle of the desert. While the man fears and cowers from social interaction, the girl reacts to perceived threats by attacking them. When soldiers arrest the characters for their monstrous destruction, they take them to opposite sides of a symmetrical prison. When they arrive, the audience first sees the girl in the right panel excessively pounding on the prison cell walls before falling to the ground. In the left panel, the man immediately drops to his cell floor and lets his head fall back in disappointment. While there, the characters swap their typical frames, suggesting an understanding of one another. And during this same scene, they can sense one another's presence, so they desperately search for each other and run together to recreate their monstrous connection. They feel shame for failing to foster a successful relationship, so this is their attempt to try again. At the end of the music video, the characters seem defeated, lying in the city's streets surrounded by soldiers, which is a timely mirror of the foreshadowed events earlier in the video. However, this scene also provides a final example of symmetry. Analogous to their first meeting, the characters unsurely look at each other from opposite sides of the screen. Although, rather than hesitating to create a connection, they use the last of their strength to touch each other for what might be the final time. The audience sees the culmination of all the struggles the characters have experienced, but now they are comfortable with each other and wish to extend their relationship beyond any fears.
When analyzing lyrical rhetoric in Mr. Fear, the key parts to keep in mind are the intro and the bridge. The intro starts from the perspective of the song's namesake, Mr. Fear. This perspective keeps the same vocalist and is consistent throughout most of the video. As previously stated, the main characters in the video are both representations of responses to fear. This is even further supported lyrically, with Mr. Fear claiming, "Tonight I'm gonna start all of your leads." This is blatant evidence that a lot of the content of the video will be in parallel with the lyrics, and that seeing the characters in the way we have discussed is intended. In addition, this line plays into the theme of fear controlling your actions, placing himself at center stage in your thoughts. Moving to the bridge, we have a switch in vocalist to correspond with the switch in perspective. This voice seems to be written from the perspective of the person possessed by fear, responding to Mr. Fear's questions of, "Why can't I be in here?" The vocalist responds claiming that the fear isn't real and that they can try to face it. This all takes place during the prison sequence as you see it now, connecting the loneliness and effort to overcome fear visually and auditorily, strengthening the emotional appeal of the bridge.
The man's fears are caused by him being different and outcast from general society, as he is the only one with multiple eyes. In response to this, the man withdraws, which is symbolized by artistic nature orbs which he creates. The girl creates an arrowhead, representing how she responds to fear with aggression, by attacking perceived threats. This represents a more predatory response to fear, as when one lives and hunts alone, anything new could be a dangerous threat. The monster is a symbol of fear itself and represents how dangerous fear can become. Throughout the whole song, the monster destroys many things in the civilization. We also see the man's fear struggling against the girl's fear for control of the monster. In this clip, we can see the guy resisting the girl's intentions of stomping on the red soldier, representing how differently these two characters respond to fear.
Coming away from this video, we can't help but be impressed by the spectacular visual rhetoric and how it works in tandem with the song itself. As opposed to many music videos which are secondary to the music or just made to sell copies, the animation and its visual rhetoric only adds to the experience and strengthens the core message of overcoming fear.